Hello and welcome to the Oh Dear podcast. My name is Cristian Duran, Senior Vice President of the Oh Dear podcast, Oh Dear Nation, Oh Dear Limited, Oh Dear Weekly, and all subsidiaries therein for to which with me on the one podcast where we talk about the things that make your mother clutch her pearls and say, oh dear, in
Oh
that tone of
dear.
voice are my lovely and wonderful co-hosts, Bret Raybould and Nick Whitmer.
Dude,
Oh yeah.
you are such a man. You are such a man. You
Thank
just
you.
assert yourself. I will say this: Whitmer is actually the ultimate. I would want to be married to Nick Whitmer, man.
Yeah.
That's a side thing. Just because, when we've had road trips or got a show somewhere, I'm the type of person. We get to the city and I'm like, "Hey, Whit, can you parallel park for me?"
Yeah.
And Whitmer just
He just does it, yeah.
Just kind of turns you on when a man parallel parks. I don't know. There's something about him, Whitmer, just yeah, dude, no problem. Gets in the seat and then just in just one back up and then one front up. You're like, how the fuck? And acting like it's not a thing. You're like, I'm blushing. I'm like, holy shit, I want to fuck him.
And then he opens the door for you on your puts his jacket in a puddle for you.
Yeah, he puts his jacket over a puddle. I'm like, God damn, this guy's a catch.
No, Whitmer's very thoughtful in a lot of ways. He is. He's he'll make you your favorite dish or something if you're sick. Or that's what he'll do.
And he gets huh?
Just keep going. I'm loving this.
And Whitmer, and here's the thing: Whitmer is an emotionally intelligent person because I think he gets all of his unemotional intelligence, his lack of emotional intelligence, let out on technology. So he doesn't Whitmer takes his day out on his iPhone, not his spouse.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's really funny.
Yeah.
That's where he goes, "You fucking idiot! Fuck you!" Hi, right. Sarah.
It's funny because my wife tells me all the nice things that Whitmer does for his wife, and why don't you do this shit? Apparently Whitmer just, apropos of nothing, will just hand his wife a smoothie and just here, I made you a smoothie, drink this. And she's like, why don't you do that? I'm like, because I'm busy working. You like heat in this house?
Do you like those shoes?
Yeah.
The
babe. The payoff is I'm in the corner of the apartment yelling at a piece of furniture I'm trying to put together.
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny. Although, I mean, it is funny. You can't really, all my friends, every single one of all my New York friends, their wives and girlfriends are all doing significantly better than them.
Mm-hmm.
Did we talk about, and all my conservative friends are still the provider. Does that make sense? Everyone, none of us can yell at our, wives or girlfriends, do you like this place? Do you like living here? Because they're like, bitch, I'm the reason we live here.
Well, yeah, I think it's true. But I also think that that side of it is I mean, this sounds fucked up, but it's those women get married to guys that can provide stuff so they don't have to do anything. You know what I mean? I think on some level, and this is not just women, but everyone would like to be the one that's taken care of. And in that way, I'm sure my wife would love it if I made significantly more than her, so she didn't have to work. Right. But I think some of those women are specifically attracted to that type of dude, whereas the other ones are just no, it's okay. Let me just marry for love.
Let me just marry this guy because he's a good hang.
Yeah.
That's all we are just good hangs.
You know
That's
what?
it.
I swear to God, I don't know if there's no way you're going to be able to see this, but engraved in my wedding ring says "to my favorite hang."
Oh my God!
It's our little thing, and it's funny because we had to write the inscription in for the guy to make the ring, and I wrote it in all caps, and I was like, he's not going to put it in all caps, right? Just because I wrote it that way. So now it just looks like my favorite hang.
3 exclamation points. You're like, God, it doesn't feel sweet and romantic.
I know.
It feels
I didn't have the
aggressive.
exclamation points.
Women are like football coaches though, and that like my wife is like Bill Belichick. Like I will be 100% on my game, and she'll just be like, "Yeah, this is how it's supposed to be." And then the minute I fuck up, I'm hearing about it. You know what I mean? It's like I just want to be like, I want an equity meter on above my head, like in a video game of like, what am I batting now as a husband? Am I allowed to just be bad at just a few things, and then you just give me a pass?
That's so funny.
It's just like I'm batting like 800. You know what I mean? And the few shortcomings I have are like it's all you hear about. And I'm like, come on.
You really are the 2019 Patriots, and I believe their slogan, if I'm not mistaken, was "Do your job." So it really is. Whatever you're fucking catching TDs and fucking bowling over guys, it's just do your job, and then you fumble once, and it's suddenly you suck.
Yeah. Well, you have 3 rings, and she's like, "Why not 5?" Where's your 5th ring? Where's that 5th Super Bowl ring, buddy?
Oh, shit. That is funny. Women are like football coaches. I mean, they tell you what to do.
I started getting like so.
I just wanted to leave it at.
I didn't know how to continue that analogy. I was thinking of stuff, but
I just wanted. I was like, I can't think of anything else. They tell you what to do.
I was like, they make you practice. I don't even know.
I don't know.
I was like, I didn't even know that.
They want you to pee on. They want you to pee on them. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like makes no sense.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
sex is when you pour the Gatorade over them. It's like they
kind of
really
hate it, but
they're like, all right,
they expect it.
All right, I suppose I'll let you do it this time. So breaking news. The reason why we're not doing. We might. I mean, I don't know if we recorded the video of this, but we're not doing the normal. We're not in studio. I'll say because I contracted the Delta variant, COVID-19. COVID watch. But speaking of just women telling me what to do, like me, I'm basically in the second bedroom quarantining. My wife's in our main bedroom. We're just staying away from each other. And anytime I go in the kitchen, we wear a mask, all this other shit. But like 99% of our dialogue is done through like text and phone now. But like if I just read through like our text messages, there's just a lot of her just telling me what to do. A lot. Like this is what happened. So we got like we have a pet fountain, and it's just
I'm sorry. Say that again.
A pet fountain. You might say fountain.
Okay. God, I interpreted that as like it's a fountain for your pet, but I interpreted it as like you're some new age idiot who's like, this is my pet fountain. Like I take care of this fountain. I'm like, oh God, here we go.
It's just like a little tank in the back with a reservoir at the bottom, and then a feeding little stream that comes out the top, and then it recycles. It's like costs like $30 on whatever. And so there's a stream of water. Apparently, it makes it to our cat is more willing to drink water because if water just sits around, it gets I don't know. But she's like explaining she's explaining to me how to clean it because I cleaned it wrong, and there's all these steps, and like. I'm like just reading through these, and I'm just in bed with COVID. And I'm just like, dude, just you clean it. Like what? Like what? Like the amount of time it takes for you to tell me how to do it, you could just do it easily.
Right.
Just you clean it, and then she did. So good for her. But anyway,
it's a step 4.
That was my
step 4. Never mind.
Yeah. Never mind. I'll just do it.
But I'm surprised. Because it's so contagious and like it's crazy now that like we were because you said you started feeling sick last week after we recorded the podcast, which we were all in studio together. So I was really worried that I had it. So I was like wearing the mask around my baby and stuff. But I tested negative. But and your wife didn't get it either.
It's the weirdest thing. So. One, I'm 100% positive that I had to have gotten it. Brett and I did a show together Saturday night in Philadelphia, and there was like, I don't know, like 15 people there, maybe 20 people there.
20. We got it.
All right.
So we had like 20 people there.
Good correction. When you're at these low numbers, as I wanted to say, it's like I am always specific with a comic on how many tickets sold. I'm not like, oh, we got I'm like, we have 24. Like we have exactly that number.
I know we had like 25 sold, and then some people didn't show up. Eyeballing the room, I would guess between 15 and like 22 people. Mm-hmm. So we'll say 20 people, and then with me, Bret, this other comedian, and a bartender, right? And it's like it just makes no sense that I could have gotten it anywhere else, because the only other thing that I did in the time gap was me, Sarah, and her mom went out to dinner, but we sat outside, and we literally got there right as the restaurant opened, and there wasn't another table near us until we were basically done. And so the only thing is, like, the waiter theoretically could have, but like we're outside. So I'm just guessing, like, I would, like, with an almost probably like a 95% certainty, I got at the show in Philly Saturday night. So 2 things. One, Bret didn't get it. Kyler, the other comedian on the show, he didn't get it. And
I'm sorry. Say that name again.
Tyler?
Oh, they said Kyler. I was like, how did you last in a car ride with this motherfucker named Kyler?
He was a local guy. His name's Tyler. Okay. Tyler Wolf, really funny dude.
Okay.
He didn't get it. And then this bartender who I didn't know before the show, but then she followed me on Instagram after the show. So I didn't talk to her, but I kind of like looked at her stories, and she's just out doing shit. So like she clearly didn't get it. I somehow got it. And then the next day I went out to Long Island, and I'm literally with Sarah's grandparents, which is like super. And I I felt fine. I was like nothing. And then we left Monday, and then Tuesday morning I woke up. I felt a little groggy, but I didn't sleep Saturday night because of the show in Philly. And then Sunday we stayed in Long Island, and the bed is just kind of uncomfortable. So I didn't sleep for 2 straight nights. So Monday night I was like, I just want to sleep. So I took like a double shot of NyQuil just to knock me out. So I woke up and I felt groggy, but I was like, oh, well, I took NyQuil. That's probably what it is. And just to make sure, I took my temperature, and it was fine. I was like, yeah, I feel fine. So go do the show. On the way back from the show, I start to feel a little weird, but I'm like, I probably just need to eat. I haven't eaten yet. So like I went upstairs and made lunch for me and Sarah. I ate lunch, and I sit down, and then like an hour and a half later, I'm like, something's not right. Like this just doesn't feel right. And I'm like, I don't know. I just decided to go get a test. So I went and got 2 tests. I got the rapid test and the PCR test. The rapid test because it's quick and it's like 80% accurate. So I was like, well, I just want the quickest results so I know if I should stay away from Sarah. And the likelihood of me testing negative for the rapid and positive for the PCR in my head wasn't very likely. I was like, probably not the case. So took both tests. I just went and walked to the car, and like I just waited until they come home until I got my results. Got the results, it said negative. I go, okay, cool. There's this cold that's going around. Multiple people have told me that they've had a cold recently, and everybody's scared that it's COVID, but it's just a cold. I go, I probably just have this cold thing. So just spent my Tuesday night normal, slept with Sarah. Like I drank tea before bed. And then I went to bed, and then at midnight, in the middle of the night, I was sleeping. I didn't get the email. They sent me the PCR test. So I wake up at like 7 in the morning. I open up my phone, got an email, checked on it. It said positive. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So like I immediately put a mask on. I run out in my patio or my balcony. I'm like, I don't even know. I guess I'll just live on the balcony for like 10 days.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty shitty, but.
That'd be great. I'm sorry. That'd be great. You just live on the balcony, set up a tent. You come back 10 days later, look like you're Robin Williams from Jumanji. What year is it?
So the worst part is the first few days is like it sucks. Like I just don't feel well. It's really the energy thing is the only thing. Like just doing anything immediately zaps me of energy, right? And it's fine. I'm like, I can deal with this. But then I lose my sense of taste, and I still don't have my sense of taste.
Oh, wow.
And it fucking sucks.
Like, dude,
food is like the only thing that brings me joy outside, when I'm in the middle of being sick.
Sure.
But like in regular everyday life, if I'm having a bad day, it's always like I'll just make a really good lunch, or I'll go somewhere and have a good lunch. It's like instant gratification. It's like when you eat food and you can't taste it, It really is. It just makes it so weird. It's food is all just nothing but texture.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like chicken. If chicken didn't taste good, there would be nobody would just eat chicken. Like it's the worst texture of anything I've ever eaten. Rice, everything sucks. I'm just like eating it. I'm like, this is terrible. Like
Yeah.
it's just not fun to be alive when you can't taste
Oh my
food. It's like, what's the point of any of
Yeah.
this?
To a degree, I mean, food is
Yeah.
the one in my life. It's one thing that no matter how your day goes, you can always enjoy a sandwich. You know
Yeah.
what I
Right.
mean?
Mhm.
And I mean, it is like my favorite. One of my favorite quotes of all time is Warren Zevon, great like singer songwriter, and it's just his quote that I love is it's just enjoy every sandwich, and
That's
it's just
funny.
kind of it's just that idea of like it kind of is like there's like this optimism to it, but you can't really enjoy a sandwich when you can't taste anything. And even if
Yeah.
a sandwich sucks, you can kind of enjoy how it sucks. Like we've all had a couple
Yeah.
of truly shitty sandwiches, and you can kind of like laugh at like, wow, how do you fuck up a turkey sub? It's so just it's
Yeah.
just bread. It's already great. But that was truly like, I mean, when I had the earlier COVID, that I would definitely it's definitely true that one of the worst things that occurs is you can't taste anything. For me, it took like 3 weeks, 2.5,
Wow.
3 weeks. And I joked with this guys, I think when it was happening, I don't know why I just still kept eating like shitty food, but it was just like, it just made no sense. It's
Yeah.
like, if I can just house kale and it means nothing, I
Yeah.
should just be housing kale and fucking
Well, that's what I started
Strawberry.
doing.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the best way of getting rid of shit in your fridge, by the way. You're like, oh, carrots? Well, carrots don't really go in what I'm about to make. It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, literally, who cares?
Your meal is just like totally moronic.
Yeah, it could literally be like, you could just put chocolate cake and carrots together. You're not
Yeah.
tasting any of it. So who gives a fuck? You're just getting nutrients from it.
He's
You're-
eating
yeah.
like Triscuits and kimchi.
Right.
You're
It's like,
that's
fuck it, dude. And the bitch of it is like, so yesterday I started like getting like a little of my sense of smell back.
Mm-hmm.
And like, cause like it's so crazy, like, you know, Vicks Vapor Rub, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't smell that, and that's so strong.
Yeah.
The other day I sat on my balcony and I had an orange and I ate an orange, and you know how like when you first take a bite of an orange it sends like bitter, nothing, not a fucking, it's the weirdest shit. You're like, I know I should be tasting this. It's the strong. I ordered fucking Indian curry, one of the strongest. Nothing, not a fucking. I'm like, what is that? I started putting like hot sauce and everything. I'm like, I was like, this would be the best time if I could go on that show, Hot Ones. I would just roll through
Yeah.
that shit. Like, what?
Yeah.
This shit sucks, dude. What are you talking about? This isn't hot. Like nothing. Like fucking nothing.
Do you
But
think
last night?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say last night I got like 50% back, and I was like, I think I can taste. And then Sarah was like, I got this coupon to order McDonald's from Uber Eats. So I was like, yeah, I have a Big Mac. Like I like this is like because it's like part of it too is like you just know what a Big Mac tastes like. So
Mhm.
Yes.
for some reason when you're eating something, you could just be like, well maybe there's something wrong with this rice, but you know
Yeah.
like what a Big Mac tastes like.
Right.
And I got a Big Mac and I tasted just a little bit of it, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is great. I can taste a little bit again. And then this morning I woke up and it was like completely gone again. I'm like, what
Oh
the
wow.
fuck? What the fuck, dude?
Wait,
Do you think
or
you just imagined the Big Mac taste?
Yeah,
like
maybe,
the kids in
maybe.
Hook.
it's
man.
so unmistakable.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It is like, I think you're right. I think your brain just tricked itself into tasting a Big Mac, even though. Is there a part of you with that's like, all right, I guess I'm just eating Big Macs the next 2 weeks?
I'm just like,
until I get my taste back.
I just started eating, like, I just took like rice and I threw like kale and broccoli and just and then I just put every spicy thing I have in it, just try to get some flavor and
Yeah.
nothing. So I'm just being I'm just going to the fridge and like, what's about to go bad? All right, I'll just make something out of these things and it doesn't even matter.
It's so weird. I wonder why. I mean, I'm sure there's articles and stuff, the research is done about this, but I wonder why like it hits that your taste buds and your sense of smell COVID does. I wonder why, like what exact, because it's like everybody says it's kind of like a cold, or you get like a fever and stuff. It like seems like kind of a, but I wonder why those two senses get fucked up by it.
I think, if I remember correctly, it's something to do with your body fighting against the virus or whatever.
Right.
I seem to remember from health class. This isn't necessarily to COVID, but it's like, because losing your sense of taste and smell can happen with a regular cold or flu.
Yeah.
Also, it's just not nearly as intense as what COVID does. But from what I understand, it's just like a byproduct of your system fighting against the virus and basically like shutting down
Yeah.
certain things. Like whatever it takes to fight the virus is what also makes you taste shit. And they're like,
Right.
yeah, I'm too busy fighting this
Exactly.
thing for you to taste anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the dumb guy's way. of
And in
explaining
my
it.
head, I'm like, just kill me and let me still taste it. You know what I mean? Like, what?
Yeah.
Don't take away that ability.
Yeah. It's like, we're trying to keep you alive. We don't have the luxury of taste anymore. We got to maintain everything. All forces, on the front lines right now.
Yeah, but if you
Wartime
can't taste
rations.
things, but if you can't taste things, you're like, guys, I might off myself, so I do need to taste some shit.
It would be weird if they took like, if your body did like other things, like you're like, we don't need to poop right now for the next 2 weeks. Instead, we got to fight this virus. But that doesn't make sense because you'd want to expel anything out. But
Yeah.
or if like you lose your sense of touch, like how come you lose your sense of touch? That'd be fucking nuts. I guess that's a safety thing.
Right. But it's like the whole Daredevil concept of like, you lose your senses and the other ones become
Right.
stronger. It's like, that is not true at all. Like, I lost 2 of them, and like,
Yeah.
I guess it's not like I can do anything different. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
That's
fucked.
I don't know.
You can see through walls.
Yeah.
When I lost my sense of taste, I got way better at fucking. So I don't know.
So sweet.
Which is
So sweet. Dude, I'm gonna get COVID, bro.
Dude, how tight is that?
So tight.
just laying pipe.
Dude, it's so sweet, man.
Oh man, I love being awesome, bro. Should we get into our first segment, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
OJ Watch.
OJ Watch. We will be making a sound cue this week. We're getting into our first segment. It's going to be OJ Watch. Recently, OJ Simpson, maybe someone can say it better than I, but he said he's afraid to go out in LA for fear of running into Nicole Brown's assassins.
Assassins? Did he say
Yeah,
assassin?
assassin is a little.
That's the headline. Assassin is weird, where it's like, all right,
Is that
it's
really
not-
the headline?
the headline
That just shows you how much of this is clickbait. Is like they're just using the most
Yeah,
over the
dude.
top language as possible.
It's not the fucking guy like the bald hitman, or like the Assassin's Creed in one of those fucking hoodies. Like,
Yeah.
Dude,
it's
when,
like the claw killer.
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
O.J.
Just a blow dart. Sorry.
When O.J. Simpson dies, is like in the paper, it's not going to read the assassin of Nicole Brown Simpson.
Yeah.
Although it would be a hilarious mission in Assassin's Creed, is you got to sneak into
Oh my god.
a Beverly Hills
Assassin's Creed
home.
you have to travel to the year 1994 or whatever it was.
God, that'd be such a funny thing.
And the whole-
Don't forget
the
to
whole
kill
time-
a friend too.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh dear.
No witnesses.
Oh dear. Oh my god. It reminds me of that Chris Rock bit, and this is so inappropriate, but where he's like they said Tupac and Biggie got assassinated. He's like, no, Malcolm X got assassinated. Martin Luther King got assassinated. Like, them niggas got shot.
But yes, so he
Anyway, sorry.
said he was afraid to go out in public in LA because he didn't want to run into the people who killed his wife.
It's like we're like as like a society, we're like, when your friend lies about something and they're lying, but you just let them just whatever. Okay, you just play into it. They like go with the same lie for years or something. Like I don't know, like they have a fucking toupee or something. Like, oh, I don't want to get my hair wet because I just I just combed it. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's why. That's why you don't want to go in the pool. I feel like as a country we're just doing that with OJ. Okay, yes, you don't want to run into the real killer. Okay, OJ.
I mean, it's funny where as I look at the story, it's just like he's doing an interview with some guy for the Atlantic, and I'm just like why are we interviewing him? What is he on? Like, what is he promoting? Like, you know what I mean? Is he in the new Naked Gun? Like, what is
that?
What?
Here's what happened. Someone with a tape recorder was walking around, just getting lunch, and then they said, "Holy shit, that's OJ! let me just ask him questions since that's what I do anyway." And then they just started asking. OJ's such a whore for like, I don't know, being charismatic or whatever. He just goes, "Yeah, I'll answer anything you want." And then he's like, "Why don't you live in LA?" He could have just said, "Oh, the weather out here is nicer in Miami or wherever I live. I'm sick of LA." He says, "I'm afraid of meeting her killer, the real killer."
You ready for the exact quote?
Yes.
I have trouble with LA. People may think this is self-serving.
He could have ended it there. Sorry, I have trouble with LA. We would.
There would have been no headlines because we would have assumed, it's like, there's just it's too many famous people.
Yeah.
But people may think this is self-serving, but I might be sitting next to whoever did it. I really don't know who did this.
Yeah, OJ, that's self-serving, but not in the way you mean.
You mean that anytime you go to a place, someone else can sit next to the person who did it.
Just a scene from Forrest Gump, but OJ on a park bench was just whoever that old lady was, and he's like, "Hey, you didn't do it, right?"
That's what I found so puzzling about it is like I texted this to you guys, but it's like he doesn't know who the killer is. So like this whole like game of what if is so. It's like, does he really think he's going to be out to dinner and then like the guy he's going to accidentally sit next to the guy who did it, and the guy's going to be like, "Oh shit, what the fuck? What are the chances?" And then he's going to become so overcome with guilt that he has to confess to OJ, and then OJ has to kill him.
Yeah.
like
the guy is going to be sitting next to him. He's going to tap him on the like poke him with his shoulder. Go, psst, psst, it was me. Wink. You're welcome.
Like the fucking what's that spy like animated thing?
What, Spy versus Spy?
Yeah, it's something like that. All right. Bad riff. Shitty bad riff. All right. We need a button for bad riff. Failed riff.
Just do the car accident sound like Opie and Anthony used to do.
Can I read the rest of the quote?
Please do. Of course.
I figured eventually somebody would confess to something, Yeah, we did too, OJ. I had one suspect I told my lawyers to look at. I still think he might.
Who was it?
God, I can't. God, it's
OJ, bro. OJ, I want you to look at this guy. He hands him a headshot of himself. I one suspect I told my daughters to look at. I still think he might be involved, but I can't talk about it.
Okay.
Oh man.
Could you imagine the look on the lawyer's face when OJ was like, "Guys, I think I know who did it," and they're like, "Is he about to confess?"
Yeah.
It's like, you look into this guy. Like that's like when your boss tells you to do something that you're just not going to do, or maybe you already did, and you go, "Oh yeah, okay, cool, yeah, sure, I'll get it right on that." Like, what the fuck, dude? I'm going to bill you hourly for the research. I'm not definitely going to do.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way that guy did it.
It's like OJ's lawyers are just like, he's like, I want you to check this guy out, and they just put their hands in their forehead and just go, OJ, I mean, it's just us. Like, we don't need to do this.
Oh man, it's just funny, man. Like, You might be afraid to go out in an area because like I don't want to run into my ex. You know what I mean? Like that's like
awkward.
But, yes, that's what he thinks it's going to be like. Oh boy!
Ooh.
Check, please.
OJ just thinks his life is a bad improv sketch. Oh God, he's so funny.
He's the juice, man. I mean, he's just I don't know. I talk about how do you have
it's
a
just the lack of self-awareness. It's just staggering.
But if like, but the thing is like, what else is he supposed to do? He got away with murder.
Right.
He has to kind of commit that he didn't do it.
Right.
So like, the best thing for him to do would just be to disappear and never talk to anybody. But
Yeah.
OJ can't do that. He can't.
Yeah.
Like, he's desperate for any type of fucking. He gives out fantasy football lineup advice on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you should arrest him today. Start this guy. It's like, he just needs the attention.
It is true. It's true. And like to my earlier point, like he is in his own improv bit because he's acting as if, and he's yes-anding his premise till death.
I mean, it's gotta, like he said in the interview, he's like, oh, I still get time to like visit my kids. And I'm like, do you think what is it like to be his kid? How do you have a relationship with someone who probably killed your mom? I mean, probably.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I don't know.
If he did it, I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be like when you're like 17, you start to rebel against your parents, like naturally. Like, it would be so much easier when your parent allegedly killed the other parent. Like, the easiest way to rebel is just to be like, yeah, Dad, I looked into the research. You did it. You killed Mom.
I wouldn't get this earring if you didn't kill my mom.
You think any of his kids in their college essay was like, my mom was killed?
Yeah.
And they're like, wow.
Wow. That's crazy. Who's so who's your family? It's not important. Yeah. Yeah.
That's our boy.
You know, it's interesting. I've been noticing the headlines, and maybe it's just because I'm watching CNN and stuff, but it's like, it feels like the only people that are dying of COVID are the people that denied it. Like, there's a lot of stories about outspoken fucking COVID denier dies of COVID. Like, there's just so many that I'm like, I feel like that's the only way you die from it now. Like, as long as you talk shit.
It's so funny because like I like the media is just so fucked up because as much as I disagree with those people, it's like, get vaccinated, don't deny COVID, don't spread inaccurate messages, but you would never be like, though, like, fat piece of shit Donna who ate herself to death died today because she didn't ever exercise, she just fucking kept eating, so she had a heart attack. It's like the headline reads, this person totally deserves to die. Like, that's what they're trying to get at.
Yeah, I know.
They're like subtly being like, this fucking retard died because she's a fucking retard. That's what happened. End of story. Like, that's all it is. It's like kind of fucked up. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, I totally get it. But it's like this weird victory lap that the media takes.
Local,
you know what I mean?
Local idiot dies of idiocy. Like,
yeah,
you're like, I don't want to dunk. Like, I don't want to dunk on someone for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's also like subtly to all the people that like aren't vaccinated. It's basically like a subtle get vaccinated. Like, this person wished they could. That one story about the guy who died on his deathbed was like, I wish I had gotten the vaccine. It's basically like the angle, and then Fox News on the other side just goes like, I don't know, we don't know the whole story. Like, I think that's the whole story.
I just think that this is like a big IQ test that we're all failing right now.
Yeah,
and it sucks like to look at it this way, but like maybe this is like the fucking nature's forest fire thing that everybody always talks about. Like, you know, there's just too many people, and let's just, there's a big virus that starts because there's just too many people, and it just comes out of nature. And then we as humans miraculously come up with a way of pretty much preventing you from getting it and or preventing you from getting really sick with it.
Yeah.
And then people just refuse to take it. And like I have yet to hear a good like that's the thing. If there was the really compelling reasons for people to not get vaccinated, like I would kind of understand it, but like the reasons are like they think they're putting spyware in their bodies, and
Yeah.
like every reason you hear is stupid. You know, the only one that would make any sense to me is if someone had some religious exemption, which they have religious exemptions for every vaccine. However, like it's usually such a small amount of people who apply for the religious exemption that it's not really a risk for any like
Which,
measles breakout.
sincere question, which religions? I actually have no idea.
Well, I know that like the Orthodox Jewish community in New York, there was like a measles outbreak like a couple like 3 or 4 years ago. They like the Orthodox Jews do not do vaccines. They don't do anything like that. They have their own code for what they're allowed to do. So there's that basically like so there are religious exemptions people who but again they make up such a few you know few of the population that like a measles outbreak sucks for the people in that community, but that's a risk that you take, but everybody else is vaccinating against measles, so like we're fine. And that's
Yeah.
usually how it works. In this case it's a little shitty but because of the variants and things, but I don't know, I kind of just feel like if everybody who is against the vaccine died, it might not be the worst thing. Is all I'll say.
Right. I mean, people would be sad, but as a like a human race, we'd probably be better off. Like, and
Yeah, there's just
I
a
know.
lot of idiots.
I mean, I know. Yeah, I know people who don't want to get vaccinated, and it would make me really sad if they
Yeah,
died of
me too.
COVID. But also, it's like I don't know what to tell you. Like I don't know what to tell you.
It's like your lack of trust is so misplaced. Like this is the thing that drives me crazy. Is like these people are like I don't trust the government. I don't trust the government. It's like well the vaccine was made by third part, like literally the private
Like
sector
a
made the vaccine.
corporation. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
corporation is, but and then they go, "There's not even FDA approved." I'm like, FDA approved is done by the government, so you don't trust the government, but you're waiting for the government to approve the vaccine, so you'll take it. Like, what do you like? It's just to me, it's like I get being scared, and I get that like maybe you're afraid because maybe with your lack of understanding of how vaccines work,
Or
maybe it's
anything works.
suspicious. Yeah, or anything works. It's suspicious that it came out so quickly in your mind. But the thing about it's like the we saw it with the voting shit is like
Yeah.
people who don't know how the people count votes, they don't know how votes are tabulated, they don't know the system, but they see something that doesn't make sense, and instead of doing any research to figure out why, they just immediately say, "Oh, it's a scam." So it's like
Right.
if you don't know anything about vaccines, you don't know anything about anything at all. When something happens, it's like it looks really fishy, but that's because you don't understand anything about it. So we have this society who, instead of doing research, instead of trying to understand, will just cling on to some crazy conspiracy because that's what makes the most sense to them because they have no understanding of the subject, and then that's just it. And whatever. I mean, I don't know what to tell anybody. I mean, it's just like a vaccine isn't. There will be people who come down with sicknesses from vaccines. There will be people who die from vaccines because like everybody's different. Everybody has different shit going on, and you never know. But those numbers are so minuscule compared to anything else that I don't know what to tell anybody. It just doesn't really make sense to me.
Well, yeah, and speaking of the religious aspect, there's like if you're like Christian or you follow Christianity to any degree, in the Book of Revelations, there's like this whole thing of like the Antichrist is coming, and then you got to get the mark of the beast. Don't get it because
Right.
that's Satan's thing, and the whole thing about the mark of the beast is like something they put on your hand or on you, and if you
Yeah.
don't have it, you can't like you can't. I think the Bible literally says you can't buy bread or something like you can't. You're cut off from whatever. But it's like, okay, 10 years ago that was phones. Like, 20 years
Yeah.
ago that was credit cards.
That
Now it's
was
the
my
vaccine.
childhood.
Yeah. So it's like,
My childhood was all about that. The mark of the beast.
yeah,
We always thought it was like a computer chip that was going to go underneath of the
right.
skin that tracks you. And guess what? You carry a thing that tracks you, and you willingly carry
Voluntarily.
it, and you voluntarily give your information to corporations every day. So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, your browser history, everybody knows it. Like there's nothing about your life that's actually off the grid like you think.
I kind of
So
like it. It's like they're calling me a beast. It's like, hell yeah, thank you. You know what I mean? Like, beast is a compliment. He's a beast. So
yeah, super.
I think. Wait, do you think we should make people take IQ tests in addition to like COVID tests, or like, is there a way to like administer an IQ test with these things too, and then send people that they got a false positive?
Yeah, I think
You think you're smart, but you got a false positive.
it's like I think it's an oversimplification to think that everybody who doesn't want the vaccine is just unintelligent.
I agree.
So
I agree.
saying we're failing an IQ test is probably not fair for me to say, but I do think there are people who, regardless of their level of intellect, are kind of more susceptible to being gullible, maybe, or susceptible to conspiracies for whatever reason. And the thing is, there's a lot of reasons to be distrustful of authority. There's a lot of reasons to not trust, any type of political party or media. There's a lot of reasons not to. So, I guess there's that. But the problem is, those people didn't make the vaccine. Science made the vaccine. The medical community made the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know. It just seems to me that you can be skeptical, but there's I just don't get it. I guess is what I'm trying to say. I just don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. People just get conned, honestly. I bet there's a lot of pastors going like, don't get the vaccine. And it's like, that guy doesn't know anything, right? Like, he's not necessarily smart just because he went to like Christian college and studied the Bible. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean he's dumb, but it also doesn't mean he knows anything about like anything other than Jesus.
I think it's just like try to look at motive and intent. And if someone's telling you to not get the vaccine, just ask yourself, do they benefit from me being afraid of the vaccine? In the case of people like Tucker Carlson, is like their whole thing is pissing people off. Like Tucker Carlson, when they're writing the show, they're literally sitting there going like, how can we piss off our viewers? Because people get addicted to being pissed off. It's like the algorithm shit when people are like, oh, the fucking algorithms on the internet, they're just reinforcing all this shit. They're showing people all this shit. It's like, dude, the algorithm is just showing you what you click on. It has nothing to do with what it is. It's whatever you click on, the algorithm is showing you. So like the fact that some people's algorithms are just filled with all this misinformation and hateful shit is because that's the shit that they click on. Because the algorithm thinks if you click on it, you like it, but in reality, you're clicking on it because you hate it. You read these stories that make you scared and angry, and you keep clicking them over and over and over and over again. So then your whole thing is filled up with this shit, and it's not because the algorithm's evil or that Facebook is, and maybe they are evil in some ways, but it's not like they're trying to sow dissension. The algorithm is just trying to give people what they want, and a lot of people want to be angry because being angry is like an addictive thing. So that's what's going on. It's like people are just angry, and like people take advantage of that. Tucker Carlson, anybody who makes that clickbait shit, they get paid every time you click on their thing, or he gets paid with viewers and ad revenue and shit. So he just tries to. He has no motive to be impartial and calming. Like no motive at all to be that.
I think Tucker Carlson to be calming. I think there should be like a Tucker Carlson ASMR. You know what I mean? Where he just comes to the mic and he just goes, "Black Lives Matter," walking down the street, terrorizing everything.
Do you think that he's like? Here's what I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to ask. But like, do you think he's not aware? I think he's aware, but do you think he is aware of the responsibility he has, or does he go like, I mean, I'm just the TV guy. Like, why are you listening to me? Or do you think he's like, no, I believe in this shit.
I think that. Go ahead, Brett.
No, go ahead. You wait. You got it.
I think he probably justifies it to himself in some way as either I'm just a guy on TV. People know that I'm a news commentary person and not a news person, like delivering news. Or he just goes like, I'm just fucking poking the side. Like the Democrats run all the other media outlets, and they're constantly spreading their shit. Every time you turn on the other
Right.
news channel, they're trying to scare you. So I'm just doing my thing for the other side. So the other
Right.
side of people have that. He probably finds a way to justify. I mean, he's not wrong in that, and I think like if that is his motives anyway, he's absolutely right if that's what he thinks, and the other side is just as bad, if not more, because like at least there's only one. Well,
Yeah.
now
They have
there's
more
like
market
Newsmax,
share.
and yeah, they have like they're everywhere. I mean, CNN, MSNBC, even mainstream media's networks that people they're not they might have a liberal bias, but they're not
Right.
like David Muir on ABC is not giving you his opinion or
Right.
trying to make you angry, but
But it's almost worse
there
because
is. Yeah.
I was just gonna say it's almost worse because like if there's only one, like Fox News is only the one doing it, like like CNN, MSNBC, they all dilute themselves, whereas Fox News is like everybody's attracted to that. Everybody who has that philosophy is attracted to that one source and is getting all the information from that one
Right.
source rather than it
Well,
getting diluted.
that's what annoys me when people are like Fox News has the best ratings. It's like, well, yeah, because like let's just say just put it simple as possible that 50% of the country is conservative and 50% is liberal, right? You have 8 or 9 different liberal news outlets
Yeah.
to divvy up between the 50%, and then the other 50% has one. So of course they're going to get the most ratings because it's only one point of view, like that they're the only conservative thing going on the network news or whatever, cable news.
It's why, like, when there is more money to be made for the most part if you are conservative, because like in kind of showbiz or just like media stuff, because there's just way less of it. It's like the idea of like, if Christian just decided to be a deeply conservative talking head, he'd probably be pretty famous pretty quickly, which you are. Like you could probably rise pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, when like Nike, like during the height of Kaepernick, and Nike like signed him, and it was like more than an athlete, and they were like, there's like a weird marriage between corporations and social support, even though it's like it's so nominal and kind of non-existent. I really, at that time, it was like there should have been, if I was a company, I would have been like, fuck it, we're just gonna be the far right shoe company.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like New Balance, all lives matter. Like just shit like you could have sold so much, because there's just like that's where some money is, because that's a very underserved market.
Well, why do you think TD Bank does the gay pride shit? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like they know what they're doing. It's a big market of people who celebrate it or are it. And if they fucking do the big banner of Capital One does the gay pride parade float,
but
they benefit. And the thing is it's all socially acceptable, so there's no thing. But if New Balance did the alt-right thing, they would all of a sudden make waves. But you're right. I mean, it's like that's why Joe Rogan has the biggest podcast, is because he's like this guy who does guy podcasting, and like you're not like there's nothing on TV for like men anymore other than sports. Like there's no other, but even sports, it's like in the NFL they do like in October they all wear pink for breast cancer. Like the NFL is such a big business, they try to get
women. By the way, is a shit charity. I've read that like. So I actually want to like so many charities and social or justice organizations. They're really just capitalist enterprises that they're smart because they don't actually have to pay anything. Take like speaking honestly, like the 3 women who co-founded Black Lives Matter. That as a movement is obviously like very important. but the 3 women who co-founded it are just like incredibly rich. Like they're
Yeah.
just like exorbitantly wealthy now.
They make speaking engagements and do all this stuff. Like Susan G. Komen they raise breast cancer awareness. They don't contribute to breast cancer research, they raise awareness. So
We're
basically
aware.
they just take a salary to go,
And
hey, breast cancer, just reminding you it's still here.
Which is like, we are aware it exists. And I'm going to cite this poorly, but the idea will be accurate. There was like a report from years ago, I think it was specifically the breast cancer one, that like all they were doing was pretty much just like, there's like 98.6 or like 99% of the money was just like being like just taken.
Yeah.
And 1% of the money was going toward like gift baskets for people with breast cancer.
Right.
So it was like, if you run a charity, I a little bit think you should have a maximum wage. Obviously it shouldn't be instituted legally, because whatever, but like I think that's fraud. And maybe it should, because I think there's some fraudulence to not actually helping people and saying you are.
I don't like groups.
Well,
sorry, I just don't like groups without a tangible goal, because like I've said this before, but it's like, if you start an organization to fix the potholes in the city, like as soon as all the potholes are fixed, the organization should disband, because now you're just like going to create potholes in the city to justify your jobs and existence.
Just drilling one.
Yeah, in the middle of the night. Look at this pothole.
I think that's a good point. I think that's like a lot of like departments who are devoted, even like at universities who are devoted to, let's just take like women's and gender studies departments. They are devoted to maximizing how much they say women are oppressed in America. Like it is their job. Like their budget is based around that narrative. So it can kind of feel like sometimes people don't take a step back and go like, well, actually strides have been made. And take, for example, the misinformation they put into the world on like the wage gap. The wage gap is not what they say it is. And this isn't even a controversial sentence. It just sounds like it is. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the 74-cent thing, what that came from?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Like basically they lined up all of the 74 cents to $1.
Mm-hmm.
That's really dishonest. And that's actually, it's like they lined up all of the wages and just took like, I believe the median one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not true to say a woman will get 74 cents for every dollar I make. There might still be a degree of discrepancy. Who knows? I think there actually has been proven to be one of like, it's like, I think economists have said it's like 4 cents, which is still bad. And I'm against that. But this idea that it was like, it's in their narrative, they need to maximize. Yeah. So throw out any information that doesn't confirm that narrative. Or just like put your blinders on.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of bullshit. Like the if you try to run I was like, there's like a 10K, and it's like every time you complete a lap, so-and-so will donate such and such to, this charity. It's like, just donate the money. Why is it dependent on my physical condition? Like, how come like I need to run for you to donate? Just donate the money. Are you really, if I quit halfway through, you're gonna be like, sorry, bud, you only did 5K. That's you're only gonna donate this much money. And the other thing I wanted to say was the NFL too. To go back to that, is technically a nonprofit. If you really want to get around how much bullshit this all is, the NFL is $1 billion. It's a nonprofit business. Yeah. They pay like no taxes. They have the not-for-profit tax thing, or like whatever legal that's set up for like
this is such horseshit.
It just goes to show you how it's all just smoke and mirrors. Anyway,
wait. So the NFL says they don't say we're a business. They say a nonprofit for what? Like, what do they?
I'm looking it up.
Oh, we're just an organization. They're just like we're the federation of independent teams, basically, right? And we just organize everything. We don't have any. We're not a company.
Oh my god,
I'm guessing that's what their
genius.
Actually,
alibi is, or whatever.
So this is something that I didn't know. So I have to correct myself. Apparently, the NFL gave up their nonprofit status in 2015 after 73 years of being a
Okay.
nonprofit. As you know, the effects of the tax-exempt status to league office.
Wait, real quick. I would like if this is the story. Oh, they gave up their nonprofit status in 2015 and are now a registered religion.
Yeah.
They now pay even less taxes than a nonprofit.
The NFL can be located in the Cayman Islands, the headquarters.
So, but yeah, up until 7 years ago, the NFL was a non-profit. So I apologize for being incorrect there, but yeah, it'd be so funny if they're like, we're a religion now. That's man, they're asking for donations.
We're just trying to spread football awareness.
Tom Brady comes to your house in a white short sleeve shirt and a black tie.
Help us buy our uniforms.
Yeah. But yeah, that's crazy. I mean, like, I'm just kind of sick of like all these like these even movements that are just like nothing, that have no goal. Like, I remember Occupy Wall Street was like, it was the same thing. It's like, what do you want? I don't know. Just die. Or like the Tea Party. What do you guys want? Taxes.
It's just
do you want them or not?
Yeah, it's kind of just like fuck them. That was like, which is like fair in like emotion and pathos, but you gotta like, you just gotta have something more.
Yeah,
because that can be a hook. That's like a good hook, but then you're like, and now what?
Yeah, I never got it. They were just hanging out in the Zuccotti Park. But sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead, Chrissy. You landed the plane?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're good, right?
Yeah,
buddy. I got another 3 hours.
You got another 3 hours? Yeah. I
forgot we had to start again.
Oh yeah, we wanted to talk about. We'll talk about stock stuff next time, I guess. Right?
That's right. We're in a bull run, folks. Enjoy it. Ethereum bull run. Life's good.
Excellent.
Whenever Ethereum's at a bull run and I'm with a friend, I'm like, let me get your sandwich. Go ahead. It's okay.
I got you.
Even though I don't have the money officially.
Yeah. I have theoretical money. All right. Anyway, guys, you want to do your plugs?
Well,
I imagine people have stopped listening at this point because I don't think people go, all right, wait, let me hear this plug. BretCoin.org for the crypto that's going to take it over.
I'm going to shoot a sketch in the next few weeks when I recover from COVID and hopefully before my baby gets here. So be on the lookout for my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Nick Whitmer.
ChristianDuranComedy.com for all your Cristian Duran needs. King Latifah, my album is available on all streaming platforms, including but not limited to Spotify, Apple Music, Google Plus, Google Play, whatever it is. Anyway, thanks so much, guys. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Peace.